hello everyone, this is the solution of assignment of week 10. This is a lecture of, we will basically talk about how do we, how we can solve what we have discussed in the last class. So, we have discussed in the last class that we should read about key details of NAPCC. What is NAPCC? This is called the National Action Plan on the Climate Change. This was, this is a document I will also share with you so that you can learn from. It's a sort of FAQs, frequently asked questions. So, basically it was the NAPCC was, implemented by Ministry of Environmental and Forest in June 2007, assess the impact of climate change on 6 areas, namely water resource, agriculture, natural ecosystem, health, coastal zone and management, and climate modeling. So, basically why it is important? Because at that time climate change is one of the we realized that one of the most critical global challenges of our time, and recent events have emphatically demonstrated our growing vulnerability to climate change. So, in 2007-8 we have started realizing this fact. Climate change impacts will range from affecting the agriculture, further endangering food security, to sea level and the accelerated soil erosion or erosion of the coastal zones. Increasing intensity of the natural disaster, species extinction and spread of the vector-borne diseases. So, these were the context where we started with, because we have already seen so many vulnerabilities and risk, and because of the climate change started from since before that, but we have started realized, and we have set up that particular kind of policies or plan to adopt, or basically to work towards improving the negative consequences of the climate extremes across Indian region. So, basically they are looking at different types of areas, for example, water resource, agriculture and natural ecosystem, health, coastal zone management and climate modeling. So, basically it was finally released by 30th June in 2008, and it outlines a national strategies that aims to enable the country to adopt climate change and enhance the ecological and sustainability of India's developed path. This particular action plan also stress that maintains a high growth is essential for increasing the living standards of vast majority of people of India and reducing their vulnerability to the impact of the climate change. So, on this particular framework action plan, the government of India has decided to establish 8 national missions, which forms the core of this national action plan, and they focus on promoting understanding of the climate change adaptation and mitigation, energy efficiency and the natural ecosystem resource conservation. So, what are the milestones or missions that comes under the national action plan for the climate change? There are 8 national missions they have decided or they have framed. Basically the national solar mission, where they are talking about the solar renewable energy sources. Then there is a second is national mission for the enhanced energy efficiency. We are looking at those methods or techniques or technologies where we can efficiently manage the energy efficiency. We should not waste too much amount of energy for that particular basic work, although we should have some sort of very highly efficient system that can basically use the energy in very highly sustainable or enhanced in efficiency manner. National mission on the sustainable habitat, we are looking towards biodiversity and flora and fauna like that. National water mission, we are looking at the water conservation and water practices like that. National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, a National Mission for the Green India, a National Mission for the Sustainable Agriculture, and National Mission on the Strategic Knowledge for the Climate Change. So, these were the 8 national mission was established by Government of India through this particular National Action Plan for Climate Change. What are the principles of these plans? Primarily protecting the poor through the inclusive and sustainable development strategies to sensitive to climate change. Then they are achieving national growth and poverty alleviations objectives, because if we have those component, we will not be able to deal with the climate change very effectively, ensuring the ecological sustainability, efficient and cost effective strategies for end use demand side management, extensive and accelerated deployment of the appropriate technologies for adaptation mitigations, new and innovative market regulatory and the voluntary mechanism for sustainable development, and then there is a effective implementation through unique linkages with civil societies and public private partnerships like that. So, what is the national solar missions? Now, I will go one by one in each different missions and we will talk about what is their silent feature. The national NSM, the National Solar Mission, was launched in January 2010. What was the objective of this particular mission is to establishing India as a global leader in solar energy by creating the policy for condition the solar technology diffusion across country and as quickly as possible. The initial target of this particular NSM was to install 20 gigawatt solar power by 2022. This was upscaled to 100 gigawatt in early 2015. Numerous facility program and scheme under this particular mission have driven that the grid connected solar power installed capacity from 25 million watt in the year 2011 to about 36.32 on like that. And additional they have also planned like 58.31 gigawatt solar power capacity is currently under installation and tendering processes. That is basically when this report is written like that in 2021. What is the objective of this particular mission? The primary objective is to establish India as a global leader in context of the solar energy by creating the policy conditions for its diffusion across the India. And then there is basically establishment of different types of solar plants across India, so that we can generate a substantial amount of solar energy into different parts of the Indian country and then promote for different types of purposes like that. Then basically it is basically a kind of promoting the national mission for enhanced energy sufficiency. So, basically that basically promotes that how we can primarily improve our energy efficiency by creating the conducive and regulatory policy regime and basically fostering the innovative and sustainable business models to energy efficiency sectors. The mission is implemented since 2011. So, basically it is primarily consist 4 initiatives: perform, archive and trade, and then market transformation for energy efficiency financing platforms and framework for energy efficient economic development. Then there is another national mission on sustainable habitat. This particular mission on the sustainable habitat was approved by Prime Minister of India on Council for Climate Change in June 2010. The primary objective of this mission was development of sustainable habitat standards that leads to robust development strategies while simultaneously addressing the climate change related to concerns. It is also important to look at preparation of city development plans that comprehensively address adaptation and mitigation concerns, and it is also looking at the preparation of comprehensive mobility plans that enables city to undertake long term energy efficient and cost effective transport planning. It is also look at the capacity building for undertaking the activities relevant to the mission towards the community capacity building or training programs like that. Then there is another national mission on water. Water is a very precious quantity. So, basically we look at the national water missions to ensure that integrated water management, resource management, which helps to conserve water, minimize the wastage and ensure more equitable distribution across within the state, different parts of the states. The mission will also take into account the provision of the national water policy and develop a framework to optimize water use by increasing water use efficiency by 20% through a regulatory mechanism with differential entitlements and pricing. So, there is a goal is basically to look into it the integrated water management resource management system, then also basically to upscale the water efficiencies, so that we can minimize the loss of the water and we can work with relatively lesser amount of water. It will seek to ensure that a considerable share of the water needs of urban area are met through recycling of wastewater and also ensuring that water requirements of coastal cities with inadequate alternative source of water are met through adaptation of new appropriate technologies such as low temperature desalination technologies that allow for use of ocean water as well. Because we have a lot of water in ocean, but most of the water is basically saltier. Therefore, we will not be able to use that water directly for day to day purposes. Therefore, we need to have some sort of desalination technologies that basically reduce the or remove the salt content from the water, and that can be used for daily life practices like that. So, this national water mission has identified 5 goals which are mentioned, which are also summarized above. So, comprehensive water data base in public domain, that is a primary goal of national water mission, and assessment of the impact of climate change on the water resources. We should have some sort of impact based studies or impact assessment of climate change on the water resources. Promotion of the database is very important. When you have the historical data set, we would be able to tell about what is our historical behavior of a certain a catastrophe. If we do not have the data, we will not be able to tell correctly about how it has been behaved in the historical time steps like that. Promotion of the citizen and state actions for water conservation, augmentation and preservations, focused on attention to vulnerable areas including overexploited areas in terms of water resources, increased water efficiency by 20%, promotion of the basin level integrated water resource management. So, this was the major objective of the national water mission. And there is another mission is called National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, which is primarily focusing on the Himalayan regions particularly. So, this particular mission sets the goal to prevent melting of the Himalayan glaciers and to protect the biodiversity in the Himalayan region. The Himalayan ecosystems as a national mission will focus on rapid generation of 4 types of national capacities, which are human and knowledge capacities, institutional capacities, and then capacity for evidence based policy building and governance. And then there is a continuous self learning for balancing between forces of nature and action of the mankind, human actions. This particular mission of the Himalayan national mission for sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem, looking at the Himalayan glaciers and associated hydrological consequences, GLOFs for example, glacier meltings for examples. What is the biodiversity conservation and protection, wildlife conservation and protection, traditional knowledge societies and their livelihood, and planning for sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem. That is also the 5 major points which we basically was discussed, implemented in this particular mission of National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem. Then there is another, a national mission under NAPCC, which is the National Mission for Green India, which is primarily looking out on the forest or increasing the forest cover or greening of India, like that, which has been approved in the Cabinet Committee of National Mission of Green, approved this particular mission. So, basically it is looking at greening in a context of climate change, which adaptation and mitigations. So, greening meant to ensure ensure that some sort of enhanced ecosystem services, which is basically carbon sequestration or storage in the forest cover or other ecosystem, some sort of hydrological services and biodiversity, as well as other provisions. For example, services such as availability of fuel, fodder, small timber and non-timber forest products, for example. So, this mission also promote all of these different types of products which are coming from the forested regions as well. So, national mission also aims to responding the climate change by combination of adaptation and mitigation areas, which would help enhancing the carbon sinks, sustainably manage forest and other ecosystems, adaptation of the vulnerable species ecosystem to the changing climate, and then adaptation of the forest dependent communities. The primary objective of the missions are increase the forestry cover on 5 hectare of and improve the quality of forest cover on another 5 million hectare or total 10 million hectare, like that. Improve the ecosystem services including the biodiversity, hydrological services and carbon sequestration as a result of treatment of this much amount of areas, like that. Then there is an increased forest based livelihood mission income, which is basically about 3 million households living in and around the forest region. We can also support them, sustain them based on through these missions, like that. And then there is an enhanced annual CO2 sequestration by 50 to 60 million tons in the year of 2020, like that. So, these were some of the goals when we have sequestrate the carbon dioxide in those particular region. We probably look forward to negative CO2 economies, like that, and then we will be basically in a in a good position when we are talking about Paris Agreement or very recent international agreements, like that. Then there is another mission of the National Action of Planning of NAPCC of so National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So, this is NMCSA, which has been basically operational from the year 2014 and 15. The primary aims to making the agriculture more productive, sustainable, and that is basically climate resilient by promoting the local specific integrated composite farming system, soil moisture conservation measures and basically comprehensive soil health management. Efficient water management is also an integrated part of this particular mission as well, and also maintaining the rain fed technologies, rain water harvesting systems, like that. So, farm water management was implemented as one of the component of this particular mission, which is the objective is to particularly look at the enhancing the water use efficiency by promoting technologies interventions like drip and sprinkler technologies, so that we can have a lesser loss of the water and we can have more productive environment, which means per drop more crop kind of messages we are trying to give to the local farmers, so that they can comply with and we can restore or we can save as much amount of water we. Then there is another important issue is basically as a point is soil health management, which is also a very important point, because we are seeing that soil erosion and all of these basically significantly degrading the soil health across India. So, this aims to promoting the integrated nutrient management through the judicious use of the chemical fertilizers fertilizers, including the secondary and micronutrients in the conjunction with the organic manure and biofertilizer for improving the soil health and its productivity. So, when you have these sort of materials, we would be able to promote more health or more agricultural health of the system, and then basically we would have a better agricultural. Then there is a soil health card scheme which has been also started, where it provides that what is the health of soil based on some sort of card system. We will be able to tell very efficiently and basically a very simpler manner to the farmer, and that can understand what kind of the nutrition deficiency of the soil is, and what kind of the how they can improve their capacities like that. Then there is another missions like National Mission on the Strategy of Knowledge for Climate Change, which basically seeks to vibrant and dynamic knowledge system that can improve the national action for responsibility and effective objective ecological sustainable development. And this is basically we have throughout discussed about. So, primarily we have talked about this particular mission, the water mission, the agricultural mission. We talked about how we can restore our forests for carbon sequestration. We are talking about renewable energy, we are talking about the solar energy, we can talking about the soil health management, we are talking about the more efficient irrigation manner, we are talking about building more efficient infrastructures to sustain or to apply these basically policies across India like that. So, you go through this basically again, and then you can learn about this. Maybe you can further go through different links and you will learn about how we are implementing these kind of action plans across different parts of the states as well, and what is their outcomes. So, for this today this is for today lecture, and we will meet in the next lecture of week 11. Thank you so much for the listening.